What's the creepiest thing your child ever said to you? My son was around 3 at the time. Kept refusing to go downstairs as that's where Angel Man was, and Angel Man wanted to hurt the family. Time to move. And burn the house down. Not my kid, but a little girl in my son's kindergarten class told me she lives across the street from a cemetery. I asked her if it was spooky to live that close to a graveyard, and she said very matter-of-factly, not during the day. But at night they all walk up to our windows and scream. How come you're not waking up tomorrow? Child says this: you stay up all night out of paranoia and concern, therefore you didn't wake up because you were already awake. Gotta love a self-fulfilling prophecy. My 5-year-old was speculating that the tooth fairy probably takes the teeth to put in her own mouth, so that she has millions of teeth in her mouth. Yikes. That would be a good horror movie NGL. There is a movie similar to this called Darkness Falls. It scared the shit out of me as a kid. My 5-year-old daughter is trying to process the knowledge that everyone dies. So she tends to casually drop stuff about me dying into normal conversation. I know this is her age-appropriate way of trying to process the concept of mortality, but it is so unbelievably ominous and it comes out of nowhere. I like your pretty dress, Mommy. But you won't be able to wear it when you're dead. I love you, Mom. But I'll miss you so much when you're dead. She also once dropped an absolutely terrifying comment about snuggling me when I'm dead. Ada, I'm 28. Which in her mind is ancient. I am practically at death's door. No, you'll be able to wear your pretty dress when you're dead. Don't let her scare you like that. Just after my little brother was born, my mom, 3 years sister and I were talking about what not to do around the baby. Things like not leaving small toys out or throwing balls around the baby. After a few minutes my sister chimed in and said, and you don't cut off baby's lips with a sharp knife. It's good advice. Yeah, sadly a lot of new parents make this common mistake. That kid should write a book, get the info out there. My daughter was 4 and while we were eating breakfast one morning she says, I was on a mountain once, and my dad died and then I woke up and was in this house with you and Mama. Then we just sat there for a few seconds and looked at each other. Then she said she wanted to watch Paw Patrol. Terrifying. My youngest, was 4, was on the carpet playing with his cars. Son, I can't wait to get a new house when this house explodes. Me, half listening, sure that sounds wait, what? Son, yeah, when our house explodes, be ready and well just run out real fast. And then he turned back to playing with cars like nothing was said. Thankfully that was 5 years ago, and my house has not exploded. Yet. Tifu by not listening to my son when he said our house would explode. I have an awesome video of my son. He was maybe 2 to 3 at the time. He was taking a quarter and trying to put into the slot just above the door handle of a closed closet. He kept repeating his name, pay the lady, I pay her. When I asked what he was doing he responded, I have to pay the lady in the closet. I asked him, why is there a lady in the closet? He said she lives there. I pay her. I'd be more annoyed that the closet demon has the audacity to charge your son to live in his closet. Who the duck does she think she is? I'm not cross about you haunting my house. You're a ghost, that's just what you do. But God ducking damn it, don't nickel and dime my kid. Yes, I know you were here first, but legally we own this property now, so you're not allowed to charge any us rent. This would make a really weirdly funny show or something. Like a character who sees spirits and shit and doesn't try to stop them haunting anyone, but gets annoyed when they're rude about it. Yeah, fine, you're a poltergeist, you make noise. But this nice couple in the house needs to get to work on time, so do you think you could observe some quiet hours between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. on the weekdays? If you really feel the need to make the walls bleed, could you at least not do it in the rooms where there's carpet? Do you have any idea how hard it is to get blood out of carpets? I know the carpet wasn't here when you were alive, but some randos who owned the place in 1978 decided shag carpet was the way to go, so now we have to compromise. Edit, thank you to everyone who is recommending Ghosts, but it looks like the UK version, the recommended version, is buy only on Prime and I have car repairs at the moment. But whoever mentioned it has the cast of Horrible Histories kind of sold me on it because I love that show so hard. Edit 2, I also don't have HBO Max. My kid keeps talking about the babies in the walls of his bedroom. Very off-putting. When our little one was 3, she had 2 imaginary friends who lived in the wall. Talk about a creepy thing for a kid to say. We moved, and she has grown older. No talk of that kind of stuff anymore. Definitely thought it was more funny than creepy, but when my kid was 2 he was scribbling on a piece of paper and quietly sang, to the tune of row, row, row your boat, scrape, scrape, scrape your eyes today. This reminds me of my daughter. She sometimes sings the people on the bus go crunch 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 while she laughs. Not said to me, but to one of my colleagues. She has 2 sons, and the younger started to have these terrible nightmares where he's being chased by someone with a huge knife and wants to murder him and all the kids. He would, as you can imagine, wake up screaming and refusing to go back to sleep. And then he asked his mom, "Mommy, is there a way how I could make myself not alive? I don't want to live like this anymore." I can't even imagine how his mom must feel when it's her child, but damn. That's heartbreaking. I had a weird, short phase when I was 19 or 20 where I had these terrifying nightmares that kept me in that doom headspace even after waking up, and made me never want to sleep again. I thought I was going completely crazy and would never be able to sleep or feel peaceful relaxation again in my life. They ended as quickly as they started, but it was hell. I would never wish that on a little kid. I had the same things, at the same age. Absolutely terrifying nightmares. I would wake up trembling and covered in cold sweat, and I couldn't get back to sleep. The few times I had someone sleeping with me or in the same room, they would say that I would cry out in my sleep. Hated it. Luckily I don't dream much anymore. While I was driving my 4-year-old nephew around, he spent a solid few minutes telling me about the dead body he stashed in my trunk. This was a long time ago, and as far as I know he isn't a serial killer. Admit it, you checked the trunk. The second we got to the mall. What did you do with the body? What body? Edit, stop awarding this softball-ass comment. Don't care if your credits were free, don't support this system. Duckin' dollars for bonus upvotes, you bozos. Attaboy. Remember before I was a baby when I was a different little boy and I had a different mommy and daddy? No buddy, do you remember that? Only a little. My GF's daughter used to talk about before I knew you, meaning her mother. Who was I before I knew you? What do you mean? I was somebody else, but I can't remember my name. Once when I was putting up a new smoke detector, she asked me what it was. I explained that it'd tell us or wake us up if there was a fire, and we could get out of the house. Oh good, so I won't burn up again, and happily skipped away. It's so unsettling. My kid was nearly 3 when she told me when I was a little girl before, I fell in the fire and died. Oh okay, how about you just come and cuddle me now? My mom loves telling me this story about the time I discovered hypnotism. When I was 4, I found out about hypnotism. I don't remember how, but apparently I became fascinated by the idea of having mind control abilities. One day, my mom says my grandpa loaded me into the car for one of our normal grocery store outings only for him to return an hour later furious. After he calmed down, he told my mom that I refused to stop staring him down in the rear view mirror with a very serious look on my face. He had asked me to stop on several occasions, but said I never really replied. I just kept staring menacingly. Then, he said all of a sudden I looked into his eyes and said, "Papa, I'm going to hypnotize you. I'm going to put my toe in your mouth." My mom said she thought it was funny at the time, but couldn't laugh because my grandfather was seriously so enraged. Edit, just to say thank you to everyone for liking my story. I ended up having my grandfather for 16 more years and he was my best friend. Thank you for telling this. I just laughed until I could hardly breathe thinking about a toddler mean mugging a grown man in the rearview mirror. I bet your grandpa wanted to fight you.